happening all tonight, guys? How y'all doing on this Wednesday evening? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live for my live review of NXT. Y'all already. My bad. The August 26th, 2020 edition of NXT, and the fallout from NXT TakeOver 30. We had quite a lot happen on this show. Well, particularly in the first half, because the announcement was made at the beginning of the first half of the show. I will say the first hour of the show I thought was really good, but the second hour I thought was fine. Wasn't the best, but I thought it was still a good show. That first hour again really, lifted my spirits up. Well, to give this a grade, it did. The last hour, some stuff I'm going to nitpick about, for sure. So, we'll get to that, of course, as we go through and review the show and talk about the big news that's going to be happening next week, because NXT is going to take place on Tuesday next week because of the NHL and the NBA playoffs. So obviously the Wednesday night shows are getting shuffled around a little bit, which again I kind of do like. Give them opportunities to have their single moments instead of competing with each other and see who really can get more views. Whenever it is not two wrestling shows competing at the same time. And of course, this new graphic, of course, is only going to be temporary. It's going to be this week and next week, of course, because I don't want to give away what's going to happen. Well, whenever the main event does happen, don't want it to be revealed until after, of course, it happens. What's up, Tyler? Saying champions lose all the time. Not NXT, really. I mean, yes, I get it, with having the main event, but again, it's one of those rare occasions. You got to change the PC name now. Yes, thank goodness. Because, once again, well, first off, if you're talking about the tags, well, actually in the description, yes, I do have to change that back in the description, so good point there, Tyler. I will change it though after the stream. Thank you for the reminder, because we are no longer at the WWE Performance Center for Raw and SmackDown. It's at the Thunderdome. Everything else, we have officially returned to Full Sail University. And of course, smaller crowds, but we're slowly getting back to normal, and we're having a normal crowd. And again, that is going to help these shows, because there's not going to be micromanaged crowds all the time. And of course, once again, like I said, they're going to be actually some more natural reactions and not just micromanaged stuff as well. But let's get into it. Talk about the show. Again, the first hour was definitely my favorite. The second hour, it was okay, but it wasn't super duper great. Also, I have 2 polls on Twitter right now. I have not much participation in them so far. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBonnie3 and participate in the polls. Place your vote. So we started off with the new NXT champion, Karrion Kross, as of course NXT has gone from being limitless to the show that falls and preys on Vince McMahon. Just kidding. So Kross comes out. He gets on the microphone and says, "I told you." Again and again. He became champion. And he warned us on his way there, everyone would suffer. He made good on his word when he ripped the belt from Keith Lee's carcass. And of course, we have heard some speculations, so this is where he basically addresses the elephant in the room. He has mentions that in war, there are casualties. There's no way he's going to be allowed to defend his title in his condition. Of course, he reveals that he separated his shoulder during that match. I haven't heard the exact time, but I did hear rumors a couple days ago that if he did indeed have a separated shoulder, he could be out for about 4 to 5 months, which would really suck for sure. Especially even though it was a weird position for them to either pull the belt off Keith Lee or give Karrion Kross to get the Brock Lesnar monster push. They were going with the monster Brock Lesnar push. Unfortunately, that's going to be on hold for the time being because Karrion Kross is going to be taking time off. He's getting surgery on his separated shoulder. He's going to be gone for a few months. Again, I'm going to say about 4 to 5 months. That's not to predict. But anyways, his pain fuels him, though. He's a realist. And with that, he lays the belt in the ring, and then Scarlett puts the hourglass next to it. And Kross says, "This changes nothing. Doomsday is still coming." Tick-tock. Scarlett turns over the hourglass, and they leave the ring with the vacated NXT Championship sitting in the ring. So, of course, again, we'd heard the rumors that apparently Kross again had suffered a separated shoulder in his match with Keith Lee. And I said that just super duper sucks. Who's going to become next NXT champion? We'll find out later. But, of course, commentary, though. Let's talk about commentary for a second. We have Beth Phoenix, Vic Joseph, and Wade Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. You see, I sat in on the NXT commentary booth tonight. Do I know this is going to be long term or just a one night treat? We'll have to wait and find out. Actually, let me look that up for sure. Because again, I heard that he was going to be there tonight, but I'm not sure if this is a long term thing or not. Wade Barrett commentary. Let me see what we got here. Apparently he's going to be sticking around. So he's going to be on commentary for NXT for a while. Awesome. Good to have Barrett back. Again, definitely super underutilized in the ring. But him, again, I'm definitely surprised to see him back, in a WWE, setting as well. So see what happens. Maybe he'll get back in the ring. Who knows? I don't know. The likelihood, I'd say it's more likely than CM Punk getting back into the ring, as I feel. But, I don't know. But I thought he actually was pretty solid on commentary tonight. And, it was strange, but felt good to have him back. So, welcome back, Wade. Hope you enjoy your time on the commentary desk. We then had a pretty good tag title match, I gotta say, between Imperium and Brexango. I thought it was a pretty good back and forth match. And Brexango win the titles, as I predicted should happen. Again, I love Imperium, but as I keep saying, this title reign they just felt super pointless. Like, they didn't really do much with them. They showed up, defended the belts, and they left. I'm not sure if that was kind of like a placeholder thing to give them something to do to, maintain some credibility, winning the tag titles. But like I said, it was just a very average, lifeless run for them, I thought, with the tag titles. I'm definitely excited to see Brexango, with the tag titles and seeing what they can do. And this is the first time, I believe, both Tyler Breeze and Fandango have gotten belts in general in WWE, which, about time. Tyler probably could have had a mid-card championship by now or something, but it didn't happen, of course. But yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing what they do as tag team champions. I definitely they're going to be a little more interesting than how they booked Imperium for sure to be tag champions. But again, Imperium is probably going to go back to NXT UK and become NXT UK tag team champions. I keep saying that they need to become because they're awesome. So we'll wait and see, of course, what happens with that. As of course, as I meant, we found out on Saturday at TakeOver 30 that NXT UK is returning on September 17th. So we'll see what happens when they get back. So we have that. We have this interview with the new North American champion, Damian Priest, who says the party is still going on, but then Timothy Thatcher walks by and says how Priest is already a disgrace. He should get the first shot to show him what a real skilled technician can do. And then Priest just laughs it off, walks away. Because, no offense, Thatcher lost to Balor, but again, I wouldn't mind seeing Thatcher champion. But I also still can't tell what in the world if Damian Priest is still a face or if he's a heel or he's a face. Still can't tell. Haven't done that turn alert yet. Still trying to figure it out. He's still cutting these in-between promos that I literally can't tell for sure. But, we'll find out at some point. I honestly hope he kind of gets in the War Games match, to be honest. I think Damian Priest would be excellent in the War Games match. So who knows? So, we have that. We, of course, then see Triple H, Regal, Matt Bloom, formerly Lord Tensai, and Shawn Michaels in a conference room discussing what's going to happen with the NXT Championship, which we found out in a little bit. Then we had this match. This was really good. Not really the match. The match was a squash, but what this match did. Jake Atlas took on the returning Tommaso Ciampa. Felt good to hear that music being played live again. He came out with this like skull mask on. I'm like, ooh, kind of changed it up a little bit here, I see. He gets in the ring. And again, I love Jake Atlas. I do think he has a ton of potential. I'm very interested to see what he can do for the Cruiserweight division further down the line. Tommaso Ciampa absolutely just destroyed him. He literally squashed him, defeated him by hitting the Willow's Bell DDT. But after the match, though, he continues a beatdown, and as referee Swarman, Ciampa just goes off the handle. He throws Atlas into the steps, into the plexiglass, even underneath the ring, and slingshots him into the metal support. He then sits on the apron and watches as the medics come in with a stretcher. And I'm waiting for him to go. But he does not. He just sits there and just stares down. He just stares down. Obviously showing a little bit of remorse, but he just let him embrace that dark side once again. But as they're taking away Jake Atlas on the stretcher, Ciampa snaps again, dives out, and then hits another Willow's Bell draping DDT onto the floor with the Atlas, of course, with his neck wrapped around. So obviously, Tommaso Ciampa's back to being a heel in his return. And probably the story's simple. You know, he came back. He took some things for granted. It wasn't focused. You know, he lost the NXT Championship match to Adam Cole because Johnny Gargano turned on him. He lost to Johnny Gargano, and then Karrion Kross comes in and he completely squashes him. So obviously, Tommaso Ciampa is pretty much a heel again, probably, because he's not taking anything for granted. He wants to become a two-time NXT champion. He didn't come back just to entertain people. He came back to be back on top and win back Goldie. There's a chance he could. But again, I will say more whenever I do the turn alert. But once again, like I said, there's a bunch of questionable turns that happened this week that I think happened, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just going to wait and do all of them at once, because we've had quite a bit of it is true. And the other thing, too, I got to say is, what's up everybody turning heel? It's kind of super heel atmosphere lately on all brands, as I could say. But we'll see what we got there. We then have a segment with Candice LeRae talking about her friendship with Tegan Nox. How she's always had Tegan's back, but she's not sure Nox has always had hers. She's on the right path now, and Tegan can join her, but she's done looking out for anyone but herself, as she says. So again, obviously set up a match. I'm not sure if they'll be somehow part of the Women's War Games match or something, but who knows? It could. We'll see where this story goes, because it definitely interests me for sure. We also have a segment backstage where Mackenzie Mitchell is interviewing Bronson Reed and how he feels about Timothy Thatcher calling his shot for North American title. And he says, well, however, I got a win over Damian Priest recently, so I should be getting a shot for North American Championship, which is very true. But then he's interrupted by no one else other than Austin Theory. And I'm like, yes! I was so glad they brought him back to NXT. He was on Raw, of course. He came up again mainly just to replace Andrade Cien Almas at WrestleMania because Almas got injured. He stuck around for a little bit and stayed in a three-man stable with Almas and Garza, but then it didn't work out. They randomly booted him. He was randomly chosen as one of Seth Rollins' disciples. Then he got suspended, so now they're putting him back in NXT. And to me, I'm like, yes, he needed it. He was not clicking on Raw for sure. He was already suffering from being called up way too soon. So the fact he's back at NXT is awesome with me. We could see him maybe feud with Damian Priest further down the line for the North American Championship. Who knows? I think it could be good. Again, if Damian Priest is indeed a face. Again, I still have no idea. But good to have him back. He just talks trash to Braun, so Braun going to have a match between them within the next few weeks. Who knows? Mia Yim was supposed to face Mercedes Martinez until Shotzi Blackheart ran him over with the tank. Again, it's not funny. So Shotzi Blackheart has a match with Mia Yim, and to the shocker, Shotzi won. She wins with a senton off of the top rope. Okay, interesting. So we'll see where this goes, but probably not really much anywhere, except we're just going to continue to see Robert Stone continue to be just a comedy act, and it's not really digging it for me, I keep saying. So, who knows? So before we get into the second half of this hour, let's check the live chat and see what we got here. No more fake crowds. I got to vote in your polls for the 4-way match. Awesome. This is worse than 4 years ago when Finn won the Universal Championship and forfeits the belt. The thing is, though, in NXT, I'm sure they're going to book Cross Strong when he gets back. When Finn got brought back after his shoulder injury, they booked him like crap. So I'm pretty sure it's going to have the opposite effect on them, I believe. What's up, Elite Squad? Gargano versus Ciampa versus Cole versus Balor will be great. Happy to see Tyler Breeze and Fandango tag champs, first title reign in their entire careers. He can see Legado del Fantasma beating Brezongo for the tag titles. That could happen. Again, I think he's got to give Mendoza and Wild a little bit more time to build up and season out, but I can see it happening for sure. But of course, I think Brezongo will be fun tag team champions. He likes the idea for Thatcher and Priest. I think it could be good, but like I said, right now it's like, why are we doing that match when Thatcher lost recently? You know what I mean? But Elite Squad thinks Ciampa's going to win the title again soon. Tyler gave the show a B-. So much for him being Seth's henchman. Yeah, so much for Austin Theory being another one of his disciples. So who knows if they'll get ready to replace him now that he's back in NXT. Like I said, good that he's back in NXT for Austin Theory, because again, he was not ready for the main roster. He was nowhere freaking close ready for the main roster, in my opinion. Alright, well then first we had an interview with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. They're not worried about their tag match tonight because they're an actual team. Io has something Rhea wants, and she should still be number one contender anyways, as Dakota feels. Then we have the segment where Regal goes out and talks about what's going on with the NXT Championship. They decided next week on NXT's Super Tuesday, since the show's going to be on Tuesday next week, because of the NBA and NHL. So we got that. So there's going to be a fatal 4-way. All 4 champions. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, and Adam Cole. Somebody's becoming a 2-time NXT champion next week. But that's not just the stipulation. It's going to be a 60-minute Iron Man match with 4 of the greatest NXT superstars of all time. Bet my money that I'm doing live reactions for that match next week. It's going to be so good. So worth talking about. So worth reacting to. I cannot wait. And I still, quite frankly, don't know who's I want to win. Like, who I want to win most. Have my ideas so I feel it could be. And, of course, someone said in the live chat before who it could be, which I'm going to agree with them. But, we'll have to wait and see. But, yes, definitely a match of the year contender right there. Again, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, and Adam Cole. Yep, as of now, they're all 4 heels still, but... Well, Ciampa just turned heel. But, we'll wait and see who people say the favorites are to win. We have Santos Escobar defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Isaiah Swerve Scott. The only person who has beaten Escobar one-on-one in WWE. That was a really good match. Legado del Fantasma did try getting involved, but then Brexango came out to make the save. They continued the brawl, a couple near falls, a couple close falls, a couple grabbing onto the ropes. The match ends though whenever Santos Escobar throws on a luchador mask and does a nasty headbutt. At first I was a little taken out by that, but then of course people were saying that the mask apparently was loaded with something hard shelled in it, so that's why it was meant to take him out. So I'm like, okay, I can forgive that. So at first I was kind of like, strange about that finish, but I'm like, you know what, I get it now. But Santos Escobar wins to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. Johnny Gargano gets a promo talking about how he thought his career might be over after the nasty bump he took last week, but that would leave his promise of a new NXT unfulfilled. And next Tuesday he gets another chance in the Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match. He's going to remind everyone who he is. And then Finn was like, fallen prey? The Prince rises. The four cornerstones of NXT go at it, and when it's done, we'll know he's not a cornerstone. He's the centerpiece. He's going to give the marketing department, network, and the guy watching on the internet what they want. Sounds great to me, Finn. Unfortunately, I don't see you winning the championship, sadly. Be nice, but I don't. And then, stuff I don't care about. We had Kyle O'Reilly take on Drake Maverick just because of a beatdown Undisputed Era had on both Killian Dane and Drake Maverick just to get Pat McAfee's attention again. I thought Undisputed Era was going to a babyface role, but instead they beat down on Drake Maverick. Kyle O'Reilly won. And then out came Killian Dane, who's to scare off the rest of the Undisputed Era, and then he attacks Drake Maverick, so what was the point of that? I don't know. We catch up then with Rhea Ripley, who's warming up, and how she claims she didn't go out there on Saturday to save Io. She was sending a message. What Io has is hers. But of course she wants to put them aside and take care of Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai tonight. Adam Cole talks about next week's Iron Man match. He says how it will feature the Mount Rushmore of NXT, and now he's put Pat McAfee in the rearview mirror. He's ready to win the belt a second time. Main event was the women's tag match with Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. It was a solid match, I gotta say. My stream cut off a little bit towards the end, so unfortunately I missed the ending of this. Before I saw it, I thought it was a really good match. But then, towards the end of the match, Mercedes Martinez comes out and starts beating down on Rhea Ripley outside of the ring. She bounces off the steel steps, spinning slam from Gonzalez on Io, but she kicked out. Rhea, though, was back up and makes a tag, but she's clearly out of it and trips on her way in. She walks right into a huge choke slam, and because of that, she gets pinned by Raquel Gonzalez. So once again, it looks like she has a feud going on with Mercedes Martinez and Raquel Gonzalez. I cannot keep up. I don't get why it's happening that way, not just focusing on just Mercedes Martinez. Who knows? But that's still NXT, even though it had some weird dips in the second half. I still thought the first half was pretty good, but I gave it a B. The polls on Twitter have 3 votes. What grade would you give this week's episode of NXT? 67% said A, 33% said B, nobody said anything lower. And then 5 votes for who will win the NXT Championship match next week. 5 votes, nobody said Adam Cole. 20% said Johnny Gargano. 20% say Tommaso Ciampa. But 60% say Finn Balor. I'm giving NXT a B. And I'm going to say Ciampa wins a championship. Now, here's the thing. If Finn Balor was not occupied, as I do believe once NXT UK starts back, he's going to be feuding with Walter for the UK Championship, I'd be all for Finn Balor getting the NXT Championship. Because that's happening, though, I don't think he's going to be getting it. I think we're going to give it back to the Ciampa, I think. I think it's going to work for him. Him telling the story how he tried to get back to the top, but the way he did it didn't work. So now he's bringing back his crazy attitude to get what he wants. So why not do it that route? AJ and Roman feud should happen after Reigns wins the belt and AJ wins the Rumble and beats Roman at Mania. That would be a good WrestleMania match. Again, I want to see heel Roman Reigns versus face AJ Styles or face Daniel Bryan. I still think should happen. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this live review of NXT. Again, thank you for Tyler and the Elite Squad for joining me in the live chat. I'll try to be live again tomorrow night for my review of AEW Dynamite. Friday should be Payback and Payback preview predictions and a SmackDown review. And then Sunday, since I'm going to be home, I'm going to do live reactions during the triple threat no holds barred match between Wyatt, Strowman, and Reigns, and do a live review of Backlash and go from there. Alright guys, thank you for joining me live. Again, I'm tired, heading to bed, I'm heading out. Have a good rest of your evening. See you guys tomorrow night for AEW. Peace out, everybody.